Okay, YouTubers, here we go again. We're now into, what's this, November 3rd, on some Wednesday. As you can tell, this is the old one rack wagon here. I call it my kind of junk wagon because it doesn't pull with the crap and it ain't wide enough to really stack a lot of hay on, but there's about 20 bale I'm less than proud of sitting here on the wagon that I'll probably take to a local sale barn and let them get it for pennies on the dollar or whatever, but take a beating on that just to get it out of my hair. But I'll get rid of that at one of the local sale barns, and that way it can be ate up by, I don't know, pigs, old cows, whatever. But anyway, as you can tell by looking, my barn, as far as hay, other than that, the loft's kind of empty. Kind of empty. Now, actually in the back up there are about probably 40-ish bales, 45 bale roughly, and those bales are for, lo and behold, if you can see him, the wife's dang horse, aka Daddy's revenge. So I have hay for him. So I got a little bit older hay, but it's saved for him, so he'll have hay. He's nibbling on some pears and whatever there now. Another trivial thing, I've not used my post driver yet. I did finally get, I don't know how well it's going to work, but I did finally get a Pioneer end and things plumbed up to this hose for the return. So I'm ready to try it and see what happens as far as that. See if it'll raise that driver up and down and do its thing. That will be a learning experience for that. For me, it will be a learning experience. Because as you have probably noticed, here in the middle of my little area, you know, my fences are old. They've been up for, well, a lot of those old wooden posts in those fence rows have been there since the early 80s, early 1980s. That's how many years them wooden posts have been in there. Now the posts here where the gate's at, those have just been in there probably, I'm gonna say early 2000s. Because I went and I replaced corner posts and end posts, gate posts back in the early 2000s. But and there's my neighbor's house. Enjoy having a horse lot in the middle of your little village that you live in. But anyway, yeah, we've killed 4 minutes. So that's my little spiel there for the day so far. You know, we got some old junk hay, got some junky hay to get rid of. Get rid of what was the better hay. It all sold. Thank you to those of you who helped on the social network of all things Facebook. That's where I listed it. Helped me get it sold. Made sure people knew about it. It was sold to people here local in the area. Hopefully the hay is good enough that they'll come back next year or see my listings next year and they'll buy more. If not, well, shoot. We'll just go from there. So anyway, hang on. I'll throw something else in here because we've only killed almost 5 minutes. We need to do a little longer than that to bore you. Now hang in there. Be right back. Okay, let's kill a few minutes out here now. We're in the middle of a little hayfield. yeah, you can tell there's a lot of visible clover, some unwanted grasses as always. You know, broadleaf type stuff that you don't really want, but for the most part, this will work. And this is kind of the area where the water stands anyway. But we'll walk down across here. You can see kind of a path. It was like I said, I took the bush hog to this, and again, much it's going to pain me to say for certain individuals, I like how the John Deere equipment mows. That John Deere Gyro 407, even with dullish blades, it still does a better job than my Woods. What is that? XT172. I believe is what that model number is on that. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably wrong. It's even on equipment. I probably got it wrong. But anyway, the old Deere mower, I think, does a better job mowing than the Woods brand mower. But in order to run the Deere mower, I got to fire up the old 806 to run it, because it's a category 2 hitch on the 3-point, and it's a 7-footer, so it requires a little more horsepower versus the 6-foot. I know somebody's going to correct me on that and say it can do it, but anyway, there you kind of walk across the field there. We kind of catty cornered, and you've seen some bare spots. These are the high spots where the little mower kind of hit the ground a few spots. And as you can tell, my neighboring farmers have got most of their crop. They got their crops out from this area. The one here that done the soybeans straight north of me, there again, he rolled in one of them big John Deere, class whatever the heck combines, with probably a 35-40 foot head on it, and I think there's between 80 and 90 acres in this field. Don't quote me, but about that. And within a couple hours, he was out of there. I mean, they had, I think, 6 semis lined up here on the road, and a grain cart, and a combine, and away they go. And you know, about 2 hours plus or minus, they was gone. This farmer over here farms this ground. Now he's got an older Massey Ferguson combine, and it did pretty good. He don't go as fast or as hard, but he got her done pretty good. And then on over that way, still some corn out there. Must be for insurance or whatever. It just ain't dried down enough. There's a wet hole over there. Don't know which of it is, but anyway, that farmer also has a pretty good sized John Deere combine. I think 6-row head, and away he goes. I think he was running 6-row head. And then on over toward the trees is another 2 more fields, 2 other farmers, and I believe they run Case IH stuff. Same deal, in, out. Don't know the size of the fields, but pretty good size equipment. You know, so for several weeks, it's, you know, my little road's kind of a highway between grain carts, combines, and semis running up and down the road. But anyway, yeah, here's a hayfield. It started actually coming back after I mowed it. It's been probably a month, but didn't really get high enough to be worthwhile to cut, and I wasn't, of course, I'd gotten sick, so that didn't help matters any. But yeah, there's a little update on my neighboring farms. And of course, we've had so much rain. Of course, I don't have a rain gauge. I ought to have one. You'd think I'd have one. So I can't tell you the amount of rain we got in the last few weeks, but it's been wet enough A lot of these guys have been kind of in a holding pattern. But when I went to town today, seen there's at least one. He was getting out there and trying to get after it. Shell some corn along the highway as I was road farming. And one other thing. Now, granted, I've always been kind of a hobby farmer. Farmhand on my days off. You know, it was always, you know, if a friend needed someone to operate a tractor or whatever, you know, and moving stuff around, maybe run the auger cart, maybe work some ground, whatever. I've always told them, hey, need an extra hand, give me a holler. If I'm off work, I'll come help you out if I ain't doing the day job. No problem. But anyways, I'm road farming. I've got to notice in a lot of the fields anymore, and I road farmed pretty good here about 2 weeks ago. We did some road trips, and as I noticed the fields, especially cornfields, that's a lot been along the highways right now, it looked like some of you farmers just literally took a grain drill and went back out there and reseeded your fields. Now, that tells me a few different things. One is the genetics of potentially of the seed that was planted. Because I'm sure they've tried to modify the genetics of the plant to release the corn from the seed from the cob easier. And even with the beans, I'm sure they've tried to finagle the genetics to where the pod would open up easier. But as I'm seeing that, I'm thinking that's a lot of profit dumped off the ground. Lots of profit in my book. And then as I'm going along, and like I said, one, seed genetics could be part of it. But the other thing I'm wondering about, you cowboys operating the combines, the hired hand, the farmer himself. I know you all want to hurry up and get done, quick. But I found myself wondering, did you really take time to set your combine up right? You know, are you relying on that service guy back at the John Deere shop to actually have when you throw that switch or button to that certain spot for that crop you're harvesting, is it really going to the right spot? Are you particular enough you'll get in there to into your machine and actually tweak it so you're not putting so much out the back? Or are you just saying heck with it and, you know, hammer down, and whatever goes out the back, fine, be done with it. Let her go out the back. That's just my observation, guys. Like I said, I do it more as a hobby, hired hand thing. But as I'm noticing these fields, they're kind of pretty green, which makes me wonder how much of it is seed genetics and how much of it is the combine operator. You know, but not my money, not my problem, I guess. Just an observation. All right, let me think of something else to show you, because we got about a 12-minute video going with all this put together. So let me find something else to bore you with. So hang in there.